That's better. Ah! Is there anybody there? Ah, yes, two people have joined me. Hi. Ah, yes, your picture is here. Aster, how are you? Three people. What does it say here? Yes. Hi. Hi, how are you? Okay, so I guess it's changed. This live video has changed since the last time I tried it. Actually, it's looking quite a bit better. What's this? Kendisi kamera kadrajına al. I don't know what that means. I guess I'll try that later. But yeah, there's a few of you here. Now, as you know, I guess. Hi Lau, thank you. It's good to see you there. And hi Burak. Yes, it's good to be back. As you know, I was supposed to start the group, as usual, on the 1st of September. But completely unexpectedly, that's good to hear, Burak. But completely unexpectedly, I had to put it off. I had to postpone it for another 3 weeks. Well, okay, hi Tan. Thank you. Yes, if I'm honest, I feel good too. And hi Talib, nice to see you there. Now, before I start the group, maybe tonight, thank you Gulsen. Actually, if I'm honest, I missed the group too. I missed, being busy with something, which I think it's, quite, well, it's not really so important, but I felt as though, there was something quite meaningful to be had in the group. So I missed being a part of that. So today, before I start the group, maybe tomorrow or tonight, I wanted to tell you the whole story. Like, what has gone on over the last, I guess, almost 2 months now. I've been away from the group and actually away from my normal life. Hi Belgin, how are you? Now, firstly, I decided to stop the group like last year and the year before, and I think the year before that. The last 3 years, I've always paused the group. Hi Sebil, I've frozen the group in September. Now, why do I freeze the group in September? Because in September, hi Danny. Are you there, Dan? Okay, yeah, that's Danny there. He's my old good friend from England. Hi, Yos. So in September, I usually go to England and I'm usually with students there, although I wasn't with students this year. But I usually go to England with students, and the last thing that I have time to spend time with is the Facebook group. So instead of giving kind of a half-hearted performance, I prefer to just freeze it completely and to start it when I've got the time to do some, decent stuff. It's nice to see you there, Gulsam. So, on the 1st of September, as always, I flew to England. Usually for 1 or 2 weeks I'm with students, but this year I went directly to my dad's hometown. And my dad lives in a small town. Hi, Urtaza. How are you? My dad lives in a small town in England called Minehead. If you think of Minehead from London, Minehead is about, I guess, 250 kilometres directly west of London, and it's on the coast. It's a very nice little town. There's about 10,000 people there. Most of the people there are retired, and it's not really the Bodrum of England, but it's a place where local English people go for a little holiday by the sea. And there's also a holiday village in Minehead, and it's a holiday village English style. I mean, I know the Turkish style holiday village. I spent a lot of time in Likia World, the beautiful weather, the beautiful food. It's completely different style. It's a holiday village English style, which is kind of designed for bad weather. When it's raining, there's lots of stuff to do indoors rather than outdoors. Anyway, that's Minehead. You see, my dad has the same plan every day. And, by the way, I'm telling you all this stuff, and, the stuff in England is just kind of the warm-up. Now, that's not the real reason why I want to tell you the story, but I'll tell you what I got up to in England. You see, my dad, 67 years old, he has almost the same plan every day. Like, now, I can guess what my dad is doing, where he is, who he's with, and what he's doing. Like, I can guess almost throughout the whole day. Well, I've realised over the last few years that rather than being with my dad and doing what I want to do, it's just much easier to... Is your dad still with his beautiful girlfriend? Yes, they're still together. They're very happy together. Hi, Barish. How are you? So, I've realised, I don't know, maybe you've noticed the same thing too. When I go home, it's just easiest for me. It's just best for me to just stick to my dad's programme, whatever that is. I just find out what my dad's programme is and I just do the same. And my dad's happy and I'm happy because my dad's happy and we're all happy. So, let me tell you my dad's programme, because when I'm in England, my dad's programme is my programme too. My dad wakes up, hi Salim, hi Ur, hi, Gulsen, no problem. The best way to learn English is by making lots of mistakes. Hi Murat, thank you, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, Murat, drop into the office a few times, more often. Hi Fatih. Hi Merve. Merve, I hope you're thinking of joining us next year. The group for you is Saturday and Sunday, 2:00, Merve. It's for, the students last year who want to continue. But, okay, I'm not doing this live broadcast for any kind of advertising, by the way. But, I saw her and I thought maybe she'll be interested in coming next year. So, my dad's plan. Usually my dad wakes up every morning, if you can believe it, at 5:00. He doesn't have to, but he just likes to get up early. So he kind of quietly goes into the kitchen, makes himself a cup of tea, switches on the television and watches the television until about 7:00. Now, I said before that I, join my dad's plan, but I don't join him at 5:00 in the morning. And he's respectful, so he walks into the kitchen quite quietly and does his business without waking me up. But that being said, maybe 30 years ago he would have woken me up, but he doesn't anymore. So he sits there and drinks his cup of tea until 7:00, and at 7:00 he has people that he goes for walks with at 7:00 in the morning. So, and at 7:00 in the morning he goes for a walk with his friends. At 8:00 in the morning, he goes for a swim until 9:00. And my father says to me the night before, but Gulsen, you like to wake up early, but do you wake up at 5:00? I think my dad's getting up very early there. You see, actually, my father, why does he like to get up early? He likes to watch the sun rise in the morning. That's his favourite thing. He sits in his, hi Melek, how are you? And I would like to say congratulations again, Melek. Yes, very nice job. Okay. So my dad likes to wake up early because he likes to watch the sun rise, which he can see very nicely. 6:00, yeah, Gulsen. That's early. My father can watch the sunrise very nicely from his front room. So my dad tells me the night before, okay, Tom, be ready at 9:00 for breakfast. So when he says be ready, usually I wake up at 8 o'clock and I do some exercises, which is like jumping and press-ups and that kind of business. At 8 o'clock, it takes me about half an hour. So I do my exercises and then I have a shower and then I do a bit of kind of, well, actually not Facebook, but, I look into the internet. And actually, yeah, at that time, I look at what's happening in Turkey and read, usually I look at MyNet on the internet for the Turkish, what's happening. So at 9 o'clock, my dad comes back after his swim. Hi, Muallim, do you like jogging? Actually, do I like jogging? I used to jog every day for 20 years. But I'd like to say, stop jogging, because jogging is bad for your knees. Okay? Now, for 20 years, I was jogging every day. And after 20 years now, I've got a bad knee. And I'm sure it's because of the jogging. So I think fast walking is much healthier than jogging. Where are you from? I'm from England. I was born in a city called Plymouth. So after I've done my exercises, after I've had a shower, we meet at home. My dad comes back after a swim for a nice breakfast. And then after breakfast, my dad usually goes to the gym. So at about 10 o'clock, after we've had breakfast and after we've rested a bit to let the food digest, we go to the gym for some weights. Ali, you're in Georgia. Why are you in Georgia? Do you work there? Is that a holiday? Maybe? So we go to the gym, we do some weights, and then after the gym, we go back home, and then we have a nice cup of tea, we have another rest, and at 12 o'clock, my dad likes to go for a long... Hi, Susan. Yes, I'm much better now, but I'm going to talk all about that a bit later. What about walking? Do you do surf? Yeah, Talib, certainly. Walking, maybe fast walking, I think is much healthier than jogging, because jogging can hurt your knee. So at 12 o'clock, we usually go for a long walk. We walk from our town maybe into a village about 6 kilometers away. So it takes about 2 hours to walk out to the village and to walk back. And then, okay, did you have Turkish or English breakfast? Well, my dad is the cook at home. So my dad likes this is breakfast English style for business, okay? My dad's breakfast is usually like a cornflakes type breakfast, or sardines on toast, or scrambled eggs, or that kind of breakfast. Or we can go out for a typical English breakfast. Yeah. So at 2 o'clock, my dad, we usually go for the walk between 12 and 2, and then my dad goes to his bar, his pub, and he drinks with his friends for about 2 hours. At that time, he says, okay, Tom, you can do what you want. And then at 6 o'clock, my dad says, okay, Tom, be ready at 6 o'clock for dinner. And usually it's kind of a quick, pizza, or, it's quite popular now in England to have these kind of microwave meals. So you just put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, you warm it up, and then you also have kind of a salad or a fruit salad or something to eat with it. And then after dinner, at about 7 o'clock, my dad usually likes to watch the Netflix. He's got Netflix, and we watch a film or a TV show for 1 or 2 hours. And then it's 9 o'clock. And then my dad goes to bed, because he gets up early, so he goes to bed early. And I usually go for a walk around. And it's quite an active day, actually. When I was in England, I was walking, 20,000 steps every day for the 3 weeks. And I guess I was eating quite healthy too. Hi, Hamza. How are you? So in England, that was my daily plan. Almost the same thing every day. Lots of exercising, lots of walking, lots of in the gym, and lots of watching television. And actually, this year on the Netflix, I watched a TV show. It's kind of like a TV show, but it's half TV show, half documentary. The Roman Empire. There's lots of those Roman Empire type of TV shows around. It was fantastic. The second season was about Julius Caesar, and really fantastic. You should read about the old Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, his life was just like, wow. Anyway, so that's England. So I had 3 weeks of that. If I'm honest, 3 weeks was a bit much. Next time, maximum a week, 10 days is kind of perfect. 2 weeks, it's starting to get a bit like, I want to go back to, Turkey. And 3 weeks was a bit long. Thank you, Aisha. Yes. Didn't you pick some students from Turkey to England? No. This year, I didn't take students from Turkey to England. The reason, our company is still sending students to England, but actually, the students usually like to just go where they want to go. They don't want to go in a big group all together to the British Museum or the Parliament or the History Museum. All of the students that I've been with in the past tend to find their own friends and they just disappear and they just like to do their own stuff, which is fine. Thank you, Salim. Okay, so actually I changed my plane ticket. My plane ticket originally was for 4 weeks, but then I thought it would be nice to spend at least a week, maybe 10 days in Samsun, which is where I live, in Samsun, just kind of hanging around, not having any lessons, not having any stress, and just going to my Sheraton for the gym and, meeting people that I haven't met for a long time. So I actually went back, I came back to England, I came back to Samsun, I came back to Turkey a bit early. Okay, hi Mesuda. I have come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. Brutus, William. Caesar has a lot of fans. He has a lot of enemies. Lots of people love him. Lots of people hate him. He's one of those guys, Some guys, you either love them or you hate them. And Julius Caesar, definitely one of them. He did some amazing things. Like, when I say amazing, like impressive. But, as amazing they were also terrible. So I came back to Samsun, actually a bit early, a week early, because I wanted to have a week on holiday in Samsun. So I came back on Wednesday morning. I came back early on Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock. And at this time, I was expecting to start the group, as always, on the 1st of September. So I came back on about the 22nd of August. It was the Bayram time, Kurban Bayram. And I came back early on the Wednesday morning. I had a sleep and then I woke up at 12 o'clock. I went to the Sheraton for going to the gym and having a relax and having oh, hi Anja. Yes, thank you. I am much better now. And basically Wednesday was a relaxing day, spending a bit of time with my family. And I made a nice plan for Thursday. And on Thursday, I met a few friends. I went to the Sheraton again, and I had a great day. Just the perfect day that I wanted to have in Samsun. Lots of free time, lots of TV shows, going to the Sheraton, meeting my friends. And then on Thursday, I made my plan for Friday. And okay, now I'm going to explain why I postponed my Facebook group for 3 weeks. So on Friday, I decided I had to see the doctor. Now, why did I have to see the doctor? Because I noticed one of my... Now, it's a bit of a sensitive topic. Hi, Hassan. But I want to explain it because... if there are any men watching this now, then listen to me carefully. If there are any girls watching and you have boyfriends or husbands or brothers or dads, you need to tell them this story and you need to get them, you need to have them, you need to persuade them to check their testicles. Okay? Now, we know that women should check their breasts regularly for masses, okay? If there's a hard lump on the breast. Now, women know this, and women should do this. And I'm sure any woman more than 40 years old, or even 30 years old, has to do this. Thank you, Yusuf. But you see, men should also check their testicles. Now, there are other names for testicles like balls or bollocks. They have to check them regularly. And actually, in America, the most common cancer among young people is testicular cancer. So, on Friday morning, I visit my old friend and my old student. Hi Musa, good to see you there. I visit my old friend and my old student Abdullah at Medical Park. Now, actually, when I was making my plan to visit the doctor, really I only expected him to check me and then to say, "Oh, it's no problem, Tom, lots of men have this." But it didn't happen like that. I visited Abdullah, and actually, hi Myra, how are you? And I visited Abdullah, and he said, "Oh, Tom, how are you?" And he said, he was joking with me. He said, "Tom, I know why you're here. Yes, you don't have to say anything. Most men visit me because of erectile dysfunction, they say." He says. And he said, "Okay, Tom, yeah, okay, I know why you're here. Just come in and, And I said, no, it's not. It's not because of that. It's a different problem." So anyway, the doctor, testist in Turkish. Yes, that's the one. Hi, Melek, how are you? So the doctor takes a look. He checks. And, nice to see you too, Musa. So, when you have a problem, when one moment the doctor is joking, laughing, having fun, and then the next minute, super serious. Now, if you're seeing a doctor and you have that, there's something wrong. So the doctor checked me and said, "You need a blood test and you need an ultrasound immediately." So I went down for an ultrasound. I had a blood test. And actually, I met Abdullah at 10 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock, I had a breakfast with Selçuk. I wasn't expecting to stay long in the hospital. So I have an ultrasound, I have a blood test, and then I go for breakfast with Selçuk, my good friend. And after breakfast, I go back to the hospital. And I said, "Okay, Abdullah, so, what's the verdict? What's your diagnosis? What's is there a problem?" And he said, "Yeah, there's a big problem." He said that you need to have an operation as soon as possible. And I said, "Oh my God, operation? What, you mean that operation? Like, cutting one out?" And he said, "Well, yeah, you should have it as soon as possible." And he's my old friend. I trust him. Okay, he's not a surgeon who just loves surgery and just tries to drag, people unnecessarily into the operating room. Definitely not. If he says, an operation is necessary, then an operation is necessary. So I say, "Okay, so when can we have the operation?" And he said, "Tomorrow." And I said, "Oh my God." And I said, "Okay. If it's necessary, it's necessary." So, 10 o'clock the next day, I go to Medical Park for the operation. And I'm lying in my room at 10 o'clock. And Abdullah comes up to the room at about, Abdullah Topal, a different Abdullah. That's Vodafone Abdullah. Hi Abdullah, how are you? And so, at 20 past 10, Abdullah comes up to the room and says, "Okay, are you ready for the operation?" And I say, "Yes." And I'm on the stretcher and I'm taken down to the operating room at about 10:30. And this is 4 weeks ago on the Saturday. And hi Abdullah, I had a spinal anesthetic. spinal anesthetic, I mean, not good news. The spinal anesthetic itself is not a problem. If you've had a spinal anesthetic, maybe you know it can cause bad headache, which it did for me. Now, the spinal anesthetic can pierce the membrane around the spine or around something which carries the spinal fluid. And if it pierces, if it rips that membrane, then the spinal fluid can leak from the out of the membrane, and it can cause an imbalance, and it gives you a spinal headache, which I had for a few days. Anyway, I'm in the operating room, and I can't feel anything because I've just had the spinal anesthetic. I can't feel anything from my belly button down. I can't see anything because there's a screen there. Okay, and Abdullah, the surgeon, starts the operation. Now, it's interesting because I can't feel anything, I can't see anything, but I can hear what he's saying because Abdullah brings, I think, his student or another surgeon into the operation, and Abdullah explains the operation to him. Now, when he says, cut, when he's saying like take out, it's pretty scary because you can't see it, you can't feel it, but you can imagine it. And I had one scary moment during the operation. Suddenly, I felt really ill, really sick. And I suddenly felt it really hard to breathe. And in the films, in that kind of situation, hi ML, how are you? In the films, in that situation, the alarms go off. Now, I'm sure the alarms went off. And then, one moment I notice there's a nurse sitting down there looking at her mobile phone. And there's a guy sitting over there looking at his mobile phone. Well, everyone jumps into action when they hear this alarm. And anyway, one of the doctors says, what was it? Some chemical, some I guess some drug or something, Amputin or anyway, if there's any doctors there, you know what it is. In that situation, they have to give you a quick bit of something beginning with A. Anyway, they give me that, and the nurse also gave me a bit of oxygen, and within 20 seconds, I was completely okay. Hi, Honoured, how are you? Yeah, Honoured, you're a doctor. What's the name of the chemical they give you in the operating room if your blood pressure goes down? Also, the nurse asked me, are you a sportsman? Because my heartbeat was very low. I mean, before the operation started, my heartbeat was 56. And I guess, with the stress of the operation, most people have a high heartbeat, but mine stayed at about 56 because I was, sometimes I was looking at it. And I guess because my heartbeat was quite low, when the blood pressure went down, then the heartbeat went down. And anyway, but I was okay after they gave me the bit of the magic, something. Now, when I was listening to them during the operation, the two surgeons, the guest surgeon said about the silicone option. Now, Abdullah never mentioned to me anything having a silicone, for, aesthetic purposes. You can have a silicone, and they joked about that during the operation. So, I'm thinking, what? Why didn't Abdullah tell me about the silicone? Because, while he's taking one out, he could have put the silicone one in. Adrenaline. Yeah. Okay. Maybe it was adrenaline, but I don't think it was. There's maybe a different drug with a different name, but maybe it was adrenaline. I'm not sure. So I did think to myself during the operation, yeah, actually that's a good idea. I mean, it would be nice to take one out and put one back in. That's it. Oh no, yes, you're right. That's the one. Yeah, epinephrine. Yep, good. That's it. That's the stuff. It's good stuff. It works quite well. But I didn't feel it. I didn't feel any kind of, I don't know, like morphine or something. I didn't feel like that. It just I just stopped feeling ill. Anyway, so after about half an hour, the operation's finished, and Abdullah sticks his head around the screen, and he says, "Oh, so Tom, do you want to see it?" And in these situations, it's very easy to ask stupid questions. And I said, "See what?" I know it's a stupid question, but I don't know. I just asked it. And anyway, he showed me it. A long kind of cord with a ball at the end. And he was like dangling it and said, "Here, Tom, here it is." And I looked at it and I thought, oh my God. Anyway, he put it in a plastic thing and he said, "This should go to pathology." Okay. So the operation's finished and I'm very happy with the operation itself. I mean, the nurses, the surgeon, the other surgeon, everyone in the operating room were good. And another thing I'd like to say for doctors out there, as a patient in that kind of, sensitive situation, you feel kind of, helpless, especially after the anesthetic. So the eye contact is so important. If there's a nurse, if there's a doctor, it's so important to just look that patient or, to look that person, let's not say patient, person in the eye and just ask, where are you from? Or, just get any kind of conversation going because that's really important. I have to say maybe one or two, nurses didn't have eye contact. They just, they just do their job. But the nurses that did eye contact and asked questions is really important. Okay. Hi, Marcelo. So, at 11:30, I was back in my room and I waited for the anesthetic to wear off. And I don't know what it's like in other countries, if there's anybody from other countries watching, but in Turkey, usually you have somebody with you in the same room that you're staying. They usually look after you while you're there. The nurses, they come, they may, give you serums and they may, take your blood pressure and stuff, but the nurses don't do much more than that. I guess, the role of the nurse, changes from country to country. Eye contact, really important. I know, my grandfather told me the time, actually it's about maybe 15 years ago, where he broke his leg in our garden and he went to hospital. And, the nurses look after you 100% over there, and, he liked the bed baths, etc. Anyway, that's a different story. I won't go into that. So that's my operation finished. And it was quite interesting having the spinal anesthetic allows you to understand the situation of paralyzed people just a bit. You can't understand them completely because the anesthetic is going to wear off after 6 hours. But 1 minute being able to move your legs, and then the next minute to not move your legs, it's pretty interesting situation. And so I thought to myself after the operation, my God, paralyzed people are like this for life. It's like, oh my God, they're so helpless, they can't do anything. And I thought, thank God this spinal anesthetic is going to wear off after 6 hours or 7 hours or however long it lasts. Mine had worn off by about 4 or 5 o'clock, so mine lasted about 6 hours. So, I've had my operation, and I noticed that just after the operation, when I can walk and when I had to go to the toilet, I felt like a 100-year-old man. Slowly walking to the toilet, and then, just like every movement was just like a big struggle. And, just walking to the toilet, which is like right next to the bed, and then walking back to the bed was like, oh my God, it's a huge success to be able to do that. But that's like the same day and the next day. And then I'm at home and, with each passing day, I can walk a bit better. And by Thursday, I had the operation on Saturday. Thursday, I walked 10 kilometers. And then Friday 10. Saturday 10 kilometers, Sunday 10 kilometers, and I was getting better and better. And I guess it took maybe 10 days to recover, not completely, because, I mean, now it's been, 4 weeks, and I don't feel ready to do weights or, go back to the gym, maybe next week. But I could walk quite a long way after about 5 days. And after 10 days, I was pretty much able to walk where I wanted. So, my business had finished. Hi Erkan, hi Umit. My business had finished with the urologist, Abdullah. Now, I would like to say, thank you Abdullah, if you're watching, which you're not watching because I haven't seen you come to the screen. You did a great job. And I was also very lucky because I know Abdullah and because I've known him for 10 years and I think Abdullah is a good friend. I was quite comfortable to visit him in the hospital. Visiting him was no problem. But if I hadn't known Abdullah, probably I wouldn't have visited any old urologist in any hospital. I just wouldn't have. So I'm glad that I knew him. To be able to comfortably visit him. And then, after visiting him, I knew, the situation. So, I'd like to say to you, do you feel ready to restart your piano classes? Yeah, 3 years ago I started the piano. The pathology results. I'm going to talk about the pathology results next. I've given up the piano for now. I've bought a piano. The piano is upstairs waiting to be played, but I think I will, do it later. Okay, so I'm recovering from my operation. Now it's the pathology results. So my business is finished with the urologist, and now I move to oncologist. Now again, I'm lucky because at the medical park, my oncologist was Dilek, and we have been having lessons for 2 years. It's interesting, 2 years in that lesson, I'm talking to her about cancer, about, she's practicing her English and she's, cancer is her, specialism. So she is always talking about that and new developments and stuff. And then now, I'm not going to her office for a lesson. I'm going to her office as a patient. Like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. But okay, I know that she's a good doctor because for 2 years I saw, hi Fadwa, for 2 years I have been seeing how dedicated, how obsessed she is with her job. So I'm very happy to have had her as a student and now she's my doctor. The reason for the illness. Okay, I'll talk about that a bit later. So, Dilek says to me, Tom, you need another blood test and a tomography. So, I waited maybe 2 weeks for the pathology results, for the tomography. The blood test was, immediate. The blood test was clean. There was nothing in my blood to show I had cancer. So, what were the results of the pathology? The pathology results basically said, yes, I had cancer. Thank you, Solmaz. So yes, I had cancer. But then the next question is, which cancer? There is a good cancer, which is, seminoma. Yeah, seminoma. And there's a bad cancer, non-seminoma. And it said I had seminoma, which is good news. The next question is, what stage is the cancer? What stage? And it was stage 1. More good news. And the next question to ask for the pathology, Abdullah, showed me, the organ, there's like a cord with a ball at the end. Has it spread into the cord? And the pathology said no. So the pathology results were all good. So I have a pure good cancer in an early stage, stage 1, and it hasn't spread. And then the tomography results. Now the tomography results tell the doctor, has it spread anywhere? And yeah, seminom. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. But I don't know what the English is, actually. Thank you, Mesuda. So, the tomography results tell the doctor, has it spread into the lungs or the stomach? And my tomography results were normal, so it hasn't spread. So, in the light of these results, the doctor, the oncologist, Dilek, said to me, you have 3 treatment options. One is follow-up. Now, follow-up is basically do nothing, but every month, every 2 months, you come to the hospital for follow-up just to check that the cancer hasn't come back. Or chemotherapy, or radiotherapy. Now, Dilek spoke to the radiotherapist, and the radiotherapist said, for this cancer, at this stage, hi Ismail, hi Gul, hi Mohammed. The radiotherapist said, for this cancer, at this stage, he does not recommend radiotherapy. So, now there are 2 treatment options. Do nothing, but very regular follow-up, or chemotherapy. Now, of course, Mohammed, I'm much better now. I can honestly say I am like 100% now. I mean, up until this point, I am, researching on the internet. Hi, Bilal. How's it going? Now, I mean, researching on the internet is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, it's kind of confusing. It gives you a good idea. You get some good ideas from the internet. I have to say, before I spoke to Dilek, I pretty much knew what she was going to say. But also, the internet can be quite confusing. You can read lots of contradictory things. There's like one article says one thing, a different article says another thing. And it's like, oh my God, like what's true? Because I trusted Dilek, like I trusted Abdullah, and she's the oncologist, I mean, it's her job to make sense of all this stuff. So I just thought, okay, Tom, stop researching on the internet. Just, the doctor knows best. And she does. So I asked her, if you were me, what would you do? Dilek said, 1, do you like Medical Park? And I'm happy to look good. Yeah, actually, I can honestly say I am extremely happy with the Medical Park. Maybe part of the reason is because at Medical Park, I know very well both doctors, the oncologist and the oncologist and the I forgot it. Urologist, yeah, the oncologist and the urologist. And also, I go to Medical Park also for lessons with the assistant manager, BSN. I help her with her English. So, and she visited me in the hospital room. So, I mean, I know the doctors and I know the assistant manager. So, I felt very happy there. And I'm very happy with the Medical Park hospital. So, Dilek said, Tom, you should have chemotherapy. Now, chemotherapy, like what? Since I was young, I've been watching chemotherapy on the television, in films. And, whenever somebody has chemotherapy, I mean, I don't care about the hair. I mean, but it's, chemotherapy doesn't just make you bald. Chemotherapy makes you sick. Chemotherapy makes you depressed, or it can make you depressed. But, when it actually happens to you, then you really research these things. So, I learned that, chemotherapy affects everybody differently. Yep, some people have all those effects. But I had the 1 dose of chemotherapy, and it didn't really affect me at all. I guess, actually, how did it affect me? It did a bit. For a few days, I had this strange kind of unusual feeling in my stomach for a few days. But it didn't make me feel sick, and it didn't affect my appetite. And I guess for 1 week, I was a bit more tired than usual. I mean, or when I say tired, what kind of tired? I mean, I was feeling, not very energetic. And yeah, I guess I slept the most in my life on like 5 days later. I slept for maybe 11 hours. And I had never, I can't remember ever in my life sleeping 11 hours. That was interesting because it's never happened to me before. Hi, Naji. Cutting a long story short, I've been talking now for about, 50 minutes. Now it's been about 2 weeks since my just one dose of chemotherapy, and I feel okay. This week, on Monday, I started to feel normal, and Tuesday, Wednesday, I started to feel good, and lately, I start to feel really good. So hopefully now I'm over it. But the chemotherapy can affect you up to 9 months after having the chemotherapy. So I don't know, but I haven't felt anything yet. I hope nothing's going to happen, now. So that's my story. That's why I haven't started the group until now. Basically, I wanted to just focus on getting better and getting well. And if I'm quite honest, since I was young, I was brought up with this idea. Hi, Saran. I was brought up with this idea that, in life there are some, major things that can, there are some major things that can happen to you. Like you can have a, terrible disease, maybe HIV, or you can have some kind of heart problem, like heart attack. Like both of my grandparents died of a heart attack. So I guess, I should be careful, with my heart. But cancer is one of them. Just the word cancer, it's just bad news, doctors say to me, my particular cancer, the seminoma, is not even really, considered a cancer. It's a good one, thank God. But still, it comes into that, area, into that group of cancers. I did research this. I said I had 2 treatment options. If I had just followed up, there was like a 15, 20, 25% chance of the cancer coming back. And having the chemotherapy, even just the one dose, you can reduce the chance of it coming back to like 5% or 2% or much less. So that's basically why I had the chemotherapy. So that's it. And I'd like to say that I'm okay now. I'm motivated now. I lost my motivation for the group as well as wanting to focus on my getting better. But now my motivation has returned. I feel better. And the 1st of October, psychologically is when all my students, all my lessons start again. You should do blood tests every 6 months in order to monitor your health. Yeah, but interestingly, for my particular cancer, the blood, my cancer doesn't show itself in the blood. I guess probably I need tomography rather than blood tests, because some cancers show themselves in the blood by raising some values. I don't know which values. But some cancers don't show themselves. In fact, it's very interesting. I think having cancer is like having dental problems, your teeth. Now, you can have a rotten tooth, but you don't know. It doesn't hurt at all. You can eat your food completely normally, and there's no sign that you've got a rotten tooth or rotten teeth, or half of the teeth in your mouth are just like rotting. But you don't really know because it doesn't hurt. Well, my cancer was like this. When I was in England, I was walking 15 kilometers every day. I was doing my exercises, jumping and, sit-ups and press-ups and stuff every day. I was in the gym every other day at least. But, I didn't feel anything. There's no pain. There's no tiredness. So, again, I'd like to, repeat what I said before. If you're a guy watching this, check your testicles for any mass. And if you have any suspicion at all, just get a doctor to check them out. And any girls watching, you have boyfriends, you have brothers, you have sons, you have fathers, just say to them, when was the last time you checked your balls? Now, if they look at you just like, what? What are you talking about? You can tell them my story, and believe me, they're going to be jumping into that toilet for, immediate checking. So you should do blood test. Okay, I've read that. So that's about it. I guess there's about maybe 50 posts in the group ready to be shared. I think tonight I will share them, and I will continue with my usual program from tomorrow. But I would like to do more live broadcasts and to make it a bit more interactive. Like, I can see a few people at the top here. Excuse me. That wasn't... Yeah, that's it. These live broadcasts should be interactive, Now, I can't really ask you individual questions, but you can ask me. I appreciate... Selçuk. No, guys, it's a small world. My friend Selçuk, just at 5 o'clock today, I phoned Selçuk to ask him a question. And it turns out he's just like, I was in the city centre. I didn't know where he was. I thought he was at home. And it turned out he was like 50 metres away from me in the city centre, just as I call him. It's a small world. Selçuk, you've just missed the broadcast. Anyway, I'm going to wish you a good night. And hopefully you can, participate in the Facebook group, and you can share your posts. But as I just said, I'd like to do a few more live broadcasts this year, a bit more interactive and asking me questions and my asking you questions. So I want to wish you good night and see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.